I'm Buddy Velastro, also known as the Cake Boss, and I'm excited to be your MC for this evening. Tonight, you will hear amazing stories about perseverance, supporting sarcoma patients, and visionary research to advance a cure for sarcoma. You know, I believe that it's events like this that really bring us together to find a cure, to share stories, to know that there are people suffering from this horrible disease and they know what it's like. It's about sharing stories, it's about sharing research, it's about coming together as a community to support one another. Tonight is all about that, and I want to thank everybody. I'm honored to be here. I really am. I'm honored to be here, and it's all about raising money and awareness, because realistically, if we don't have the money for research, we're never going to beat this disease. And together, we want to beat sarcoma as a community. We hope you and your families are safe and well as we bring the annual Stand Up to Sarcoma Gala to you virtually. As many of you know, the gala was originally scheduled to be an in-person event. At the Sarcoma Foundation of America, the safety of our sarcoma patients and the gala supporters are a top priority. Due to the current COVID-19 situation, the SFA staff and the board made the decision to take the most cautious path, keeping in mind the health and safety of our guests and the sarcoma community, and host the gala virtually again this year. Although we can't be together in person to celebrate the progress that continues to be in sarcoma research, it is more important than ever to come together. COVID is still impacting our daily lives, but that does not change the unfortunate truth that people are still being diagnosed with sarcoma every day. And sarcoma patients still need more and better treatment options. Tonight is about bringing awareness to the disease and bringing the SFA's community of supporters, patients, caregivers, and their families together to honor those who have devoted their work to people diagnosed with sarcoma, and the survivors and patients who inspire us every day. Tonight is also about raising much needed funds to support sarcoma research so others do not have to hear those words. You have sarcoma. Before we jump into tonight's program, some important event information to share. Please make sure to view the digital journal on the event page when you can view the full bios of the 2021 honorees and journal messages. Don't forget to check out tonight's silent auction located on the event site. You can explore the auction on the event website by visiting the navigational bar. We encourage you to take pictures of you and your family and friends joining us tonight, and make sure to tag the SFA and use the event hashtag SFA Stand Up to Sarcoma. Also, be sure to check out the virtual photo booth located on Candace homepage and on the navigational bar. Let's spread awareness about this terrible disease and celebrate the sarcoma community. Finally, I hope we will support the SFA and sarcoma research by donating during this event. Usually, the event includes live appeal. Since we're not together in person, you can use the donation link on the platform or text to give support SFA's mission. By contributing, you will receive a charitable tax receipt for whatever amount you choose to donate. After hearing stories about the honorary sarcoma patients and survivors, and also hearing the great work being done by the SFA, we hope you will give a little more to help SFA save lives. Thank you all again for joining us. We hope you will enjoy tonight's virtual program. We'd like to start the program with a video to remind us why we're all here tonight.
Good evening. On behalf of the Sarcoma Foundation of America, or SFA, thank you for joining us for the 19th Annual Gala, Stand Up to Sarcoma, a night of celebration and community as we gather together to support sarcoma patients and survivors and recognize medical and healthcare professionals for their unparalleled devotion and care to the sarcoma patients they serve. The safety of sarcoma patients and our gala supporters are a top priority at SFA. Although we hope to have an in-person gala event, the current COVID-19 situation caused us to take the most cautious path and host the gala virtually again this year. Certainly, this is not how we plan to come together, but we appreciate your support and your standing with us during this difficult time. I want to thank our event committee for their unwavering commitment to SFA and sarcoma patients. I also want to thank our sponsors for continuing to support this event and our work. These partnerships are important to advancing our mission, funding translational research, and ultimately saving lives. And I want to thank SFA's dedicated board of directors, all of whom have been touched by sarcoma in some way and are devoted to SFA's mission. Thank you for your leadership and your passion as we work to realize a world without sarcoma. Recently, SFA lost one of our board members and gala event co-chairs. Amira Yunus was an unbelievable force for sarcoma. Her passion, her fighting spirit, and her sheer will to make the world better for sarcoma patients will be difficult to replace. Amira was instrumental in leading this gala and raising money for sarcoma research. The sarcoma community has lost a bright light. Please join me for a special tribute to Amira. SFA will continue our work to find the cure for sarcoma in memory of Amira. 21 years ago, the Sarcoma Foundation of America was founded to fulfill an unmet need, to fund and advocate for more sarcoma research, encourage the development of new and better therapies, grow awareness, and educate sarcoma patients. This past year, we have been reflecting on our impact and achievements, and I want to share some of those with you tonight. Over the last 21 years, SFA has invested more than $12 million in research, making SFA the leading private funder of research in the sarcoma community. These efforts have helped to uncover new insights, helping to move research from the lab to clinical trials. This year, we funded 15 new research grants through SFA's renowned grant program. These projects cover a wide range of research areas and subtypes, including rare subtypes that desperately need more support. We finalized 2 Young Investigator Awards through the Conquer Cancer Foundation at ASCO, and we committed funding for 2 SPORE grants with partner organizations. SFA's research funding has supported a pipeline of young investigators to expand the research community, basic science that is necessary to advance novel ideas, clinical trials to move forward promising new therapies, and translational research to harness the most advanced ideas. This has all led to an increase of funding and opportunities for new therapy advancements. We have engaged our medical advisory board to develop a scientific strategic plan that will increase our impact and provide more rapid and targeted advancements, asking the provocative questions in sarcoma science and building collaborations and funding research to answer those questions. We have harnessed resources to bring sarcoma to the front lines, and sarcoma awareness, research, and therapies have substantially increased. We have built a strong and connected sarcoma community through our Race to Cure Sarcoma series and raised millions of dollars for sarcoma research. Our work to provide education and advocacy opportunities have brought together patients, survivors, caregivers, and sarcoma experts to give them tools to advocate for themselves and for the greater good of the community. SFA not only serves as an advocate on behalf of the sarcoma community, we also work to ensure that patients and survivors play a significant role in advocating for change. SFA also advocates for increased research funding for sarcoma, both from for-profit and nonprofit cancer organizations and the biopharmaceutical industry, to improve the level of awareness, interest, and investment in research for sarcoma. These advocacy efforts have resulted in focused research programs on sarcoma by the National Cancer Institute, as well as new investments by the biopharmaceutical industry. While we have made significant strides to a better life for those living with sarcoma, we must keep this momentum moving forward. SFA's research, education, and advocacy efforts are the 3 pillars of our mission and are essential components of our work to lift the voices of sarcoma patients, family members, caregivers, and supporters. We remain laser focused on our mission because patients need access to life-saving treatments. And as the leading patient advocacy and research funding organization in the sarcoma community, it is up to us to make sure they receive them. The Stand Up to Sarcoma Gala is a critical component to advancing our mission and saving lives. So on behalf of the Sarcoma Foundation of America and the sarcoma patients we represent, thank you so very much for joining us tonight and for supporting our work. Your support of this event and SFA has provided hope to sarcoma patients across the world and is making a difference in the lives of people touched by this terrible disease. Together, we can build off of the achievements of the past 21 years and continue to do more to help patients, survivors, and their families. The lives of so many depend on us.
Thank you, Brandy. At this time, I'm excited to introduce tonight's entertainment. SFA's long-standing relationship with these performers stemmed from band leaders Evan Ruggiero's personal experience with sarcoma as a teen. Evan began dancing at the age of 5. By 10, he was accepted into the famed New Jersey Tap Ensemble. Upon entering his sophomore year of college, Evan was suddenly diagnosed with osteosarcoma in his right leg. After countless surgeries and efforts to save his leg, Evan was faced with a devastating decision to amputate his right leg. But of course, that didn't stop Evan from pursuing his dreams. Evan was backed up in tap dancing in 18 months, only days after what he calls his peg leg. In 2018, Evan received a Drama Desk nomination for Best Actor in a Musical, a Cheetah Award nomination for Best Dancer in a Musical, and was awarded a Clive Barnes Award in Theater for his portrayal of Tom Jones in New York City's off-Broadway hit, Bastard Jones. Evan has performed for many notable individuals such as Ellen DeGeneres, Vice President Joe Biden, and his wife, Dr. Joe Biden. And most recently, Evan performed alongside two-time Grammy-winning artist Jason Mraz. Please welcome Evan.
Hey everyone, my name is Evan Ruggiero, and welcome to the Sarcoma Foundation of America's 19th Annual Gala. I'm here accompanied by the great Justin Garcia on the guitar. We got a great program for you tonight, lots of music, singing, and dancing, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Feeling I'm happy again, and I'm laughing at clouds. They're so dark up above. The sun's in my heart, and I'm ready for love. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain, I've a smile on my face, and I'm walking down the lane with a happy refrain. I'm just singing, oh, and I'm dancing in the rain. I'm happy again, and I am laughing at clouds. They're so dark up above, and I am singing. Yes, I am singing. Yes, I am. Oh, I'm singing and I'm dancing in the
Wow, that was amazing. I look forward to seeing continuation of Evan's performances this evening. The Compassionate Care Award recognizes a patient, navigator, a clinic, nurse, community health worker, or social worker for his or her outstanding contributions to patient care, support, and education. Sarcoma is a challenging disease to navigate alone, and many sarcoma patients need additional support. Navigators assist patients from diagnosis to survivorship, helping them understand their condition and treatments, as well as manage side effects, coordinate care among medical specialists, and connect patients to available community resources to overcome barriers to care. This year's SFA asked the sarcoma community to nominate someone deserving of this award. After many deserving nominations, one stood out from the rest. I would like to introduce Jennifer Corby, who will introduce the 2021 Compassionate Care Award honoree.
Last fall, following many months of terrible pain and incorrect diagnoses, my sister Kimberly Giulio Gasper learned that she had metastatic Ewing sarcoma. She was sent to Mount Sinai Hospital for treatment, where she spent the next 6 months, unable to walk, breathe fresh air, or see her beloved daughter Victoria. Our family was shell-shocked. To make matters worse, this all happened while COVID was hitting its winter peak. Visitation at the hospital wasn't prohibited, but it was limited and left Kim alone with her thoughts more often than we liked. Lauren Fleming, her social worker, moved to fill in many of the gaps we couldn't. She was a smiling face who brought life from outside the hospital into Kim. Kim ended up contracting COVID during her hospital stay, at which point she was isolated in a COVID unit. Lauren made it a point to visit her even when she was there and could not see anyone else besides her doctors and nurses. Kim's case grew more complicated. The treatment regimen was brutal and unfortunately turned out to be ineffective. We were left with no other options. When it was time for Kim to move to hospice, Lauren helped us make that happen. We spent 3 weeks with Kim eating delicious food, feeling the sunshine, and spending time as a family before she passed away this past April. Through all of the impossible decisions and heartbreaking moments this past year, Lauren was there, and we could never have navigated that situation without her. We'll be forever grateful for her support. Lauren Fleming is the inpatient social worker on the solid tumor service at the Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. Prior to joining Mount Sinai, Lauren completed her fellowship field placement at Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital. In addition to her work in the oncology department, Lauren currently serves as a preceptor for first-year medical students in the Art of Science and Medicine course at the Icahn School of Medicine. Through her work in oncology, Lauren has developed a robust dedication to advocating for her patients' self-determination. She has a special interest in trauma-informed care and how it relates to caring for critically and chronically ill patients. I nominated Lauren for SFA's Compassionate Care Award because of the exceptional support she provided to my family. She was there without fail to answer questions, provide information, and offer comfort. She saw Kim as a whole being, as a mother, daughter, sister, niece, cousin, and friend, more than just a sick body in desperate need of fixing. Thank you to SFA for being a source of information, particularly for these more rare and aggressive forms of cancer, for raising awareness and funds for research, and making grants which can lead to clinical trials that hopefully will bring about new treatments or a cure for sarcoma sooner rather than later. And thank you for recognizing those who care for patients day in and day out, as Lauren and so many others do.
I'd like to begin by saying how honored I am to be receiving the Compassionate Care Award. I wish we could all be together to celebrate the 19th annual Stand Up to Sarcoma Gala, but as we've all learned over the last year, it's important to be flexible. I'm thankful to the Foundation for their decision to go virtual and to keep this community safe. SFA is an incredible organization, and I'm so grateful for the work that they do in their quest to further education, funding, research, and advocacy for sarcoma. I would also like to thank the family of my patient, Kimberly Giulio Gasper, who graciously nominated me for this award. I've been fortunate enough to work in oncology social work for years, but not a day goes by that I'm not honored and humbled to walk beside my patients during some of the most trying times of their lives. My role allows me to bear witness to not only tender and heartbreaking moments, but times of intense courage and resilience as well. Holding a safe, compassionate space for patients during these times is of utmost importance. Being admitted to the hospital for any reason is a daunting occurrence, frightening, lonely, and isolating. Being admitted to undergo cancer treatment can be even more terrifying. At times, it can be incredibly traumatic, especially when, like Kim, your friends and family live hours away. Part of my role in supporting patients on the inpatient oncology service is to not only act as an advocate, but to assist with processing the heavy emotional weight that comes with this diagnosis. Every patient deserves the best care, and that best level of care extends past the physical and pharmacological treatment to the care of their mental and emotional well-being. It also extends to the care of their relationships with family, with friends, and with themselves. Cancer changes things. It can alter our personal identity, our self-esteem, and our purpose in life. Kim, like so many of my patients, moved through her fears with grit, determination, and hard work. I am eternally hopeful that the compassion held within our therapeutic alliance gave her comfort and safety during those incredibly challenging times. So once again, I'd like to thank the Foundation for their tireless efforts to move sarcoma research forward. I'd like to thank the Giglios for their selflessness and kindness. And lastly, I'd like to thank Kim, because it's patients like her, patients who courageously continue to move forward through their fear, even when they think they can't. These patients are the ones that continuously give me the spirit to do this work. Thank you.
And now, Jennifer Goodwin, SFA board member and trustee of the Catherine J. Malatesta Foundation, will introduce the 2021 Vision of Hope honoree.
The Vision of Hope Award is presented to a person or organization whose public or private actions have resulted in the advancement of care, treatment, or awareness for sarcoma patients. The honoree, whose achievements provide better patient outcomes, impacts the lives of sarcoma patients and survivors by providing them hope for a better future. Epizyme Inc. is a fully integrated, commercial-stage biopharmaceutical company committed to its mission of rewriting treatment for cancer and other serious diseases through novel epigenetic medicines. The Sarcoma Foundation of America is proud to honor Epizyme Inc. with the Vision of Hope Award for their work in developing tazemetostat, a groundbreaking therapeutic that has changed the lives and provided hope for people living with epithelioid sarcoma. Epizyme's contribution to improving sarcoma patient outcomes is extraordinary and is well deserved for recognition. On a personal note, in 2015, I lost my beautiful daughter, Catherine, at age 16 to epithelioid sarcoma. She fought a brief but extremely brutal 8-month battle. During that time, there were no specific treatments for patients with epithelioid sarcoma. Catherine's wonderful doctors infused her with plain vanilla chemotherapy and immunotherapy treatments that were successful in patients with different types of cancer. Nothing worked. Nothing. There was little hope for Catherine. Now, 6 years later, Epizyme brings such hope to epithelioid sarcoma patients with an innovative therapeutic called tazemetostat, or Tazverik commercially. Epizyme is positively impacting the lives of epithelioid sarcoma patients and their families. As most of us know, hope is what every sarcoma patient needs. Please help me in welcoming Grant Bogle, President and CEO, who will receive the Vision of Hope Award on Epizyme's behalf.
Hello, I'm Grant Bogle, the President and CEO of Epizyme. On behalf of our company, it's an honor to accept the Vision of Hope Award from the Sarcoma Foundation of America. I want to first acknowledge the outstanding work done by the SFA. Throughout your 21-year history, you've shown an unwavering support for the sarcoma community. It is evident in the mission-critical work that you do in research, education, and awareness. Epizyme is so proud to be working alongside you as we both strive to improve patient outcomes for those living with sarcoma. For those of you who may not be familiar with Epizyme, we're a small biotech company located in Cambridge, Massachusetts, focused on developing transformative therapies for cancer patients through the science of epigenetics. The field of epigenetics refers to a broad biological regulatory system that controls gene expression without altering the makeup of the genes themselves. By controlling gene expression, we believe that epigenetics has the potential to play an important role in treating cancer and other serious diseases. Last year, our team helped bring the promise of epigenetic therapy to people living with metastatic or locally advanced epithelioid sarcoma with our first FDA-approved product. This achievement would not have been possible, however, without the support and advocacy of the Sarcoma Foundation, along with that of many patients, caregivers, healthcare providers, and other members of the community who advocated for the approval of a new treatment option for those who are battling this devastating disease. We are grateful to all of you because you helped make our dream of delivering a new treatment for epithelioid sarcoma turn into a reality. While it is our mission at Epizyme to change the standard of care for those living with cancer, by developing these targeted and transformative treatments, it's much more personal than that. As a patient-focused company, we value the up-close and individualized work we do with cancer patients and their loved ones. Over the last year, we've gotten to know many people and families facing the realities of epithelioid sarcoma. We heard firsthand how devastating a cancer diagnosis can be, especially a rare and aggressive cancer like ES. We understand there are very few effective or tolerable treatments, and there's a toll that both the disease and harsh medications like chemotherapy can take on patients and their loved ones. We recognize the immense hardships the sarcoma community faces. Knowing these stories and understanding the challenges patients face in their cancer journeys motivates us each and every day to continue our work innovating for people with cancer. And I truly believe it's only through the efforts of patients, families, researchers, investigators, clinical trial volunteers, healthcare providers, and the advocate community overall, in partnership with companies like Epizyme, that we will all continue advancing care for those living with ES and other forms of sarcoma. On behalf of Epizyme, we look forward to continuing this journey with all of you. Thank you to the Sarcoma Foundation of America, its leadership team, and its board of directors for this honor. We are thrilled to be part of this special evening. I also want to take a moment to express my gratitude to my colleagues at Epizyme. Tonight's award is a result of their tireless work to improve the lives of people living with epithelioid sarcoma and underscores our collective commitment to the sarcoma community, whom we strive to serve each day. Thank you so much for this recognition, and congratulations to all of tonight's honorees.
Thank you, Grant, and everyone at Epizyme for your support of sarcoma patients and commitment to saving lives. Let's welcome Evan and his band back to the stage for his next song.
skies are blue, and the dream that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up when the clouds are falling behind. From outside the clouds, I am a gently successful over the rainbow. Why, oh why can't I?
Thank you, Evan. I'd like to remind everyone how important it is to raise valuable funds for SFA. Tonight's SFA's work to fund research has made a significant impact on the sarcoma community. Let's take a look.
SFA is the leading private funder of research in the sarcoma community, funding cutting-edge, high-reward research projects that would not initially be funded by the government or pharmaceutical companies.
Has always been an important component of the SFA's mission. Over the years, advocacy efforts have taken different forms, but always at the heart was a keen focus on finding better treatments and therapies for patients and eventually finding the cure. In its infancy, it was essential for the SFA to begin a grassroots campaign of awareness, as little was known about sarcoma. We first joined forces with like-minded individuals and groups to make our voices heard on behalf of the more than 50,000 families affected by the disease. We talked to the Food and Drug Administration about the problems that sarcoma patients have to deal with in getting new therapies approved for them. We also met with the National Cancer Institute to get them to focus on a plan for a national research agenda against sarcoma. At the same time, we brought our message to Capitol Hill, where we met with congressional members about increasing targeted funding to fight sarcoma. And finally, we began a campaign to educate the pharmaceutical companies on how they could benefit from focusing on sarcoma as an indication for their cancer therapies. As a result of our efforts, and in partnership with academic sarcoma doctors, we were able to increase sarcoma government funding by nearly $30 million. Additionally, as a result of SFA's advocacy, the FDA has streamlined its approval process for second-line therapies for sarcoma. And we played a role in pharmaceutical companies having more than a dozen new drugs approved for sarcoma and its many subtypes.
Due to the rarity of sarcoma cancer and limited public knowledge of the disease, sarcoma has been referred to as the forgotten cancer. This lack of awareness and understanding creates obstacles in efforts to foster research and drug development. SFA and the sarcoma community works tirelessly to raise more awareness in order to highlight the challenges that sarcoma patients face and to demonstrate the need for new sarcoma therapies. In an effort to generate this increased attention, the sarcoma community united to designate July as Sarcoma Awareness Month. Despite community recognition of Sarcoma Awareness Month, there has not been an official designation. The official recognition of July as Sarcoma Awareness Month can aid in raising awareness about sarcoma, and this increased awareness can lead to earlier diagnoses and better treatment options. For years, SFA worked with advocate Brendan Locke from Wisconsin to get a resolution passed. We are thrilled that in 2021, the Senate passed the resolution by unanimous consent, providing an official designation of Sarcoma Awareness Month.
We found out through the Sarcoma Foundation that they've been trying to get some legislation passed, approvals and signatures through the White House to recognize July as Sarcoma Awareness Month. We really took that to heart and made it our goal to get that approved and get that recognition. And so during that Rare Disease Week, Melissa and I met with Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin. We explained to him what it meant to us about getting July recognized as Sarcoma Awareness Month on a national level, putting it up there with the likes of October and breast cancer, and March with colon cancer, and September with pediatric cancers.
SFA's investment in basic science research, developing a pipeline of sarcoma researchers and advocacy work to increase government research support and modify regulatory processes, has led to an increase of funding and opportunities for new therapy advancements in sarcoma.
The Sarcoma Foundation of America is laser-focused on finding the cure for sarcoma in our time. Over the course of 21 years, SFA has built a renowned grants program, increased funding for sarcoma research, advanced new therapies, and raised the awareness about sarcoma.
Your support of SFA will allow us to harness our collective voice and continue to raise awareness about the disease, fund new and innovative research, work toward more and better treatment options, and continue to advocate for patients. All of these things are vital if we are going to end sarcoma.
Although significant progress has been made, there is still more to do. And we need your help to support people like our next two honorees. The next two award highlights perseverance, courage, and commitment to finding a cure. Each year, SFA recognizes sarcoma patients and survivors with the Courage Award. The Courage Award honorees illustrates through their personal efforts and actions sarcoma advocacy. These individuals inspire others by using their platform on behalf of sarcoma patients and survivors to create hope and a better life for the sarcoma community. In light, we have asked two special individuals to present these awards, as they have shown immense courage themselves.
Prior to being diagnosed with chondrosarcoma of the pelvis, I was an athletic father of three. After undergoing extensive surgery, I found new ways to stay active and mobile, and I decided to share my story online, which led me to make a lot of friends that still help each other along our sarcoma journeys. I became active with the SFA in 2016, supporting Chicago's first Race to Cure Sarcoma. It was through this experience that I met Chris and Team Langbine. Chris was a committed supporter of sarcoma research and finding a cure, not just for himself, but for others. He inspired Team Langbine, a group of friends, family, and colleagues of Chris and Becky, to join together to support Chris after his sarcoma diagnosis. As a group, Team Langbine has raised nearly $500,000 to support sarcoma research. Their efforts have made a tremendous impact on increasing awareness and by using their platform on behalf of sarcoma patients and survivors to create hope and a better life for the sarcoma community. Team Langbine has created a legacy that will impact generations of sarcoma patients. Chris passed away on May 5th of this year, but Team Langbine's legacy continues, having already raised over $50,000 this year. Please join me for a tribute to Chris and in welcoming David Hales and Justin Schmaltz, who will receive the Courage Award on behalf of Team Langbine. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm Justin Schmaltz. I'm joined by David Hales. We're here in Chicago. We're actually at the old post office at a charity event for Glory Children's Foundation, which is fitting because we're here supporting another cause that obviously helps a lot of children. And we thought it'd be a fitting event to accept this award on behalf of Team Langbine. So I'd like to say thank you for the award on behalf of all of those participants on Team Langbine, Chris Langbine's friends and family and colleagues who have made such an effort to support such a worthy cause and all of the important research that the Sarcoma Foundation supports.
Thank you very much for recognition on this fantastic award. Fitting that we're here for Glory's, considering a lot of what we're raising here in Chicago is going to Northwestern for sarcoma research. So, hoping that we're just part of the cause that helps to eradicate this terrible disease. So, thank you again for the recognition, and for sure, we're just going to keep going and just see what we can do until we're done and this disease is done. So,
We're sorry we can't be together in person. We look forward to being very soon, but very happy that technology allows us to accept this award virtually. So thank you again.
thank you.
My son Carson was diagnosed just before his 17th birthday. Cancer did not define Carson. Carson defined cancer. While going through an aggressive treatment for stage 4 sarcoma, Carson went on an amazing hunting trip with Texas Boys Outdoors, as well as traveling to Minnesota, numerous fishing trips, went skiing in Colorado for the first time, and even learned to snowboard, and celebrated his 18th birthday in Hawaii. He embraced every second of life with an eagerness to experience and soak it all in. Carson's journey made a tremendous impact on social media. Through his social media following, he was able to raise over $85,000 for cancer research this past year. He also worked on projects with the Sarcoma Foundation as well as Peel Therapeutics. Carson had a desire to influence and help others. He often declared, "I want to do my part to be sure other kids don't have to endure what I have. We have to do better. We have to find a cure." Earlier this year, the Sarcoma Foundation of America contacted us to include Carson in a documentary, and we were connected with Trent Williams. Trent Williams is not only one of the best offensive linemen in NFL history, but he is also a sarcoma survivor. In January of 2019, he was diagnosed with a rare subtype of sarcoma. His delayed diagnosis received national media attention, but unfortunately is not uncommon for people with sarcoma. After enduring several cranial surgeries and sitting out of the 2019 football season, Trent continued his NFL career with the San Francisco 49ers, something many people, including Trent, were not sure he would ever be able to do. Trent's story will be highlighted in a documentary in which he talks about overcoming sarcoma and his comeback, an 8th Pro Bowl selection, and becoming the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history. Last month, Carson passed away after a 16-month battle with sarcoma. Carson wasn't able to live the life on earth that he hoped to live, so we must go forth and live it for him. Trent is using his platform to create hope and a better future for kids like Carson and other people who are battling sarcoma. Please join me in viewing a clip from his documentary that includes my son Carson. And please join me in honoring Trent Williams with the Sarcoma Foundation Courage Award.
How you doing?
I'm Carson.
Carson?
I'm doing good.
Trent, pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
With Trent being an ambassador for the Sarcoma Foundation, it puts us in a position to also help them raise money in the fight against sarcomas.
We found out that I had rhabdomyosarcoma around April of last year.
That's a heavy ball too.
It's always been a big motivator for me, seeing people like you experience something like this and then be able to get through it and prove to be successful. So that's always just helped me, and experiences like this have showed me that, you know, this is not the end of the road, and it's given me the courage and the strength to fight through this.
Just to even hear you say that you know, can draw some type of strength from what I went through, it is, you know, it's overwhelming.
Yeah, I know I'll be watching them 49ers games.
Oh yeah, you can actually come to them, man. You wanna?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bring the whole family out, man. So, yeah, of course.
That'd be pretty amazing.
You know, I just always wanted to deal with my things in private. After hearing him kind of explain how my situation helped him get through, and just how the community outreach helped him get through his hard times and helped him shift his outlook on what his situation was, I do think it changes my perspective. I do think it's a little more important to just be able to give your testimony. Hey everybody, Trent Williams here, coming from San Francisco. You know, first and foremost, I just want to thank God for allowing me to use my testimony as encouragement for others around the world to get through the same situation I got through. Second of all, I just want to thank the Sarcoma Foundation of America for choosing me for this Courage Award. You know, I'm thankful from the bottom of my heart. You know, I appreciate you guys for allowing me to use this platform to tell my story and to help spread the word about sarcoma, so that, you know, we can find a better treatment for the people suffering and fighting around the world. So again, I appreciate you guys for the overwhelming amount of support, and you know, I really thank you guys. Let's continue to fight together.
Those are all very inspiring stories and shine a light on why the work of sarcoma ambassadors like Team Langbin and Trent Williams are so important to raise awareness and advance sarcoma research. Again, if you would like to make a donation tonight, you can do so by texting or using the donation link on the event platform. There is absolutely no donation that is too small. Every dollar makes a difference. We'd like to raise $55,000 during tonight's event to support a 2022 research grant. You could also bid on a silent auction. The funds raised will help us with this evening's goals. Finally, I'm honored to introduce SFA's president and co-founder, Dr. Mark Thornton, who will present the Nobility in Science Award.
Thank you, buddy. Dr. Eugenia Kleinerman, Professor of the Division of Pediatrics and Director of the Adolescent and Young Adult Cancer Program at MD Anderson Cancer Center, is being honored tonight for her decades of work focused on helping children with sarcoma. Dr. Kleinerman was the first woman to lead a clinical department at MD Anderson, serving as chair of pediatrics and head of the MD Anderson's Children's Cancer Hospital between 2001 and 2015. Dr. Kleinerman is internationally recognized for her scientific and clinical expertise on the development of novel therapies for children with sarcomas, especially osteosarcoma that has metastasized to the lung. Dr. Kleinerman was a pioneer in the treatment of sarcoma using immunotherapy. In the 1990s and early 2000s, her visionary research resulted in the development of muramyl tripeptide, or MEPACT, a drug that stimulates the immune system to attack sarcoma. MTP, as it's also known, reduced the death rate by 30% in children with bone cancer, and for over 10 years has been saving lives in children throughout the world. On behalf of the entire Sarcoma Foundation of America community, it is my great honor and privilege to present Dr. Eugenia Kleinerman with the 2021 SFA Nobility in Science Award. Congratulations.
Good evening. I am honored and humbled to have been chosen for the Sarcoma Foundation of America's Nobility in Science Award. I thank the SFA, the nominating committee, and the board of directors for this recognition of my life's work, a 35-year journey of passion, persistence, commitment, frustration, and exhilaration. My journey was at times lonely when I felt no one was listening to my ideas, no one was listening to the patient's struggles, the need for supporting sarcoma-specific basic and clinical research, or recognizing that there was a lack of effective therapies. There were so many times that I wanted to rip the phone out of the socket and throw it against the wall, or burn the critiques from the grant review panels for the statement, "This research is unlikely to make a significant impact on the cancer problem." I was encouraged to switch my research focus from sarcoma to a more common cancer to make it easier to obtain peer review funding. This I never considered. That is why the SFA is so important. The SFA is your voice. It educates the medical and research community that curing sarcoma will absolutely impact the cancer problem. It advocates the urgent need for more sarcoma-specific research and new drug development, and provides seed fundings for new investigators to attract young, talented minds to the field of sarcoma and assure that new discoveries will continue. Full transparency, I did not set out on the path to be a pediatric oncologist or do research in osteosarcoma. I did fellowships in rheumatology and allergy immunology and was headed for a career taking care of children with immunodeficiencies and rheumatic diseases. My research in medical school was on herpes and influenza viruses cripple the immune system and set the body up for superinfections. So what motivated a young physician with a tenured faculty position at NIH to completely change direction and work on a disease that she had absolutely no experience in? Well, believe it or not, it was the 1979 Hollywood movie Promises in the Dark, starring Marsha Mason as Dr. Alexandra Kendall, a general practitioner in a small New England town. It is the story of Dr. Kendall's journey as she takes care of her teenage patient with osteosarcoma through initial chemotherapy, her relapse with lung metastases, and death. Now, to be clear, I did not identify with Dr. Kendall. That was not the magnet. What grabbed me was the scene when Dr. Kendall is on the phone with someone at the NCI, acquiring about any clinical trial, any experimental therapy to treat her young patient with osteosarcoma lung metastases. While you could not hear the individual on the other end of the line, the look of utter disbelief on Dr. Kendall's face, her frustration and anger, hearing that there was nothing and that because it was a rare disease, there was little interest in drug development, absolutely shook me. Another full disclosure, it was my husband, Dr. Leonard Swelling, who dragged me to this movie because once a week it was movie night and he was a Marsha Mason fan. I was tired and had no desire to go out. I'm so glad I did. A few years later, I accepted a junior faculty position at the MD Anderson Cancer Center and moved my family to Houston, Texas, where I began my quest to develop an immunotherapy approach that would attack osteosarcoma lung metastases. The brave patients and their families that traveled down to Texas to participate in my trials, and my surgical, medical, and pediatric colleagues who worked with me to make this happen were amazing. These experiences and bonds were motivating forces to me. This award has given me new energy, and I promise that I will continue to participate in making translational discoveries and advocating for funds earmarked for sarcoma research. Tonight, I ask you to please be generous in supporting this wonderful organization. Together, we can make a difference and continue to move the needle forward. In closing, I again thank the SFA for this recognition. I also need to acknowledge MD Anderson for giving me a blank slate to pursue my unconventional ideas, my colleagues who trusted me and referred their patients to me, and of course my mentors, Dr. Josh Fidler, Norman Jaffe, and Ralph Snyderman. Lastly, I must give thanks to my family, my sons Richard and Andrew, who put up with a working mom, and especially my husband Leonard, for his continued inspiration and support, my cheerleader. After all, if it weren't for you, Lynn, I wouldn't be standing here today. Thank you again, and good night.
Thank you, Dr. Kleinerman, and congratulations again on this well-deserved award. Tonight has been an evening of celebration and recognition, but we would be remiss if not recognizing the community of sarcoma survivors that are thriving today, in part because of your support. Wow, what an impactful evening. Thank you for joining us for this virtual program and helping us recognize and celebrate our honorees, the sarcoma community, and the Sarcoma Foundation of America's work. A reminder that the silent auction will be closing, so make sure to get in your bids now. If you were touched by tonight's program, there is still time to donate to help SFA support sarcoma patients and realize a world without sarcoma. Thank you all again for attending SFA's Stand Up Sarcoma Virtual Gala, and we hope to see you in person in 2022. Let's welcome Evan back to the stage for his final performance